Hello and welcome to Tukatek's Tukadesign software for pattern making and grading. If this is the first time you are using the software, this video will help you get started. We can begin by opening a folder on your C drive called Tukadata, and inside Tukadata, the software comes preloaded with basic blocks. They are subdivided by category, children, men, and women's. In each folder, we have different styles. Go into one of the folders and select a style. There are three parts to the interface. You have your working area and the piece bar here on the left, and when you select a piece, the piece will come down to the working area. To remove the piece from the working area, use the delete key from the keyboard. On the top, you have different sets of toolbars to do pattern making functions. For example, when I click the measuring tool, I have a tape measure in my hand. If I want to cut the piece, I pick up my scissors. Now notice the cursor changed to a scissors. If I want to draw something, I pick up the draft tool, and now I have a pencil in my hand. When finished with a tool, to exit the tool, simply right mouse click and go back to your selection tool. Each pattern piece is comprised of different elements. This piece has two contours. The solid green line is my sewing line contour and is a closed contour, and the dotted white line on the outside is my seam allowance. Every piece will have an internal grain line, and when you select an internal element, there will be a selection box. When you want the information of a point or an internal, simply double-click on it, and the information dialog box will appear. If you double-click on a notch, this will give you all the information of the notch. If I double-click on the dart, this gives me all the information about the dart. And anytime you need to delete something, simply select it and use the delete key from the keyboard.
Tukadesign has some very advanced features such as a measurement chart. Now I can take any external or internal line measurement by simply double-clicking on my line and giving it a name. Here I'm giving a name of chest, and you notice on screen the chest measurement is divided up into three segments, and this is a graded block. My master block has the master grading on it. So you see this chest measurement. If I go to the report menu and bring up my measurement chart, okay, I look at chest, it comprises of three segments. So I have a total chest measurement, which includes this back segment, this front segment, and front number 2. Three different segments. So all the measurements you see on screen are automatically loaded into the chart. If I uncheck the detailed view, because it's a graded set, I can now get my specs for every point of measurement. So here's my armhole, medium is my base size, and here's my total chest. So you can set up any point of measure and it'll automatically adjust to the chart. And let's say if you go and you adjust a segment, for example here I click on the waist and I go and adjust this from 16 inches to, let's say, 17 inches. And I'm going to make this adjustment at both points in a horizontal direction. So when I click OK, my waist measurement now is 17, and that automatically gets updated in my measurement chart. And I also have the ability to plug in my shrinkage values. So if I include the afterwash shrinkage value based on 8 and 6%, now I have my columns, the before wash measurement and after wash measurement for each and every size. The reference block feature means now anytime you make changes to the contour of the piece, here for example, let's say I drop the sleeve cap and 11/16, okay, you notice the original line is staying here as a reference line, so you don't have to make a copy to compare your changes you did to the old one. The old piece will always be there as a reference line, so notice I'm just deleting points and I have my original line there. If I want to revert back to the original piece, it's very simple. I can come here and restore by reference block, and it'll swap the line. If I don't need the line anymore, I can simply also select the line and delete it. And Tukadesign also has many batch operations. So you notice here I have a 20-inch segment. Let's say I want to slash and spread, open up fullness. So here I add the multi-fullness. Let's say I want to slash and spread 10 times. And they're all going to be 1-inch openings. So when I click OK, instantly I now have a 30-inch segment, and this remains 20 at the bottom. Another great tool pattern makers love is the new ruffle maker. Here I click on the ruffle and I simply enter the information. So if I know what my sewing length is going to be, let's say I want it to be 40 inches. And my first width will be 1 inch, and I will grow it, let's say, up to 4 inches, for example. Now the offset means offset from center. Here I'm going to leave it at 0, and the gap means what's the distance I want between each spiral of the ruffle. So here I have half an inch. So when I click OK and bring down my piece, you'll notice that here in the center is my 1 inch beginning, and it's rounding. 40 inches was my sewing length. So automatically, based on my width here of 4 inches, my last width of 4 inches, the outside length is 79.5 inches. So you can create a ruffle by simply plugging in the sewing dimensions, and quickly you'll get your ruffle piece.